Okay, we are now recording the January 26, 2018 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
We've got the end of 1099 season punchies.
That's right.
Happy hour.
And we're going to start a new program, like Hector and Michelle, and they're changing their videos up a little bit. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to shorten our videos to half an hour. We have a predetermined subject matters, so while we are free to talk about that, we're going to be a little bit more structured than we were in the past, and we will actually be putting in the description what we're talking about when I do post this. So yay, we can go back and look at things.
Yeah.
So Hector and Michelle are kind of the power couple that they were, are moving on to different things now. Michelle's partnering with Heather Satterley. She's staying with the QB Power Hour, but QB Power Hour for QB Power users. That's her new name. Hector's moved on to video marketing, and I do believe he has a couple tax webinars that'll be coming out throughout the year. I saw like maybe 4 or 5 of them that he'll be doing. So, nice. So our first subject that we're talking about today is what happens when apps go crazy. There has been a problem with Bill.com and Hubdoc syncing with QBO, and it's my understanding that it was a QBO update that did this.
They fix it.
QBO updated their API, did not tell the vendors or the apps, who continued to do what they normally did.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And then you wake up one day, and this actually happened to me. I went into my my Bill.com account, and I had 3 sync errors. Now, 3 is not a big number compared to other people. There are people that we're talking about
hundreds.
Well,
and it wasn't just Hubdoc, because I felt for Jamie, the owner of, the developer of Hubdoc, and if they're handling each account manually to figure out how to restore data, can you imagine how much money they're losing? I didn't realize it affected Bill.com too. I guess
Bill.com, I have heard of, I forget her name, Lisa, I think it was, Lisa Peacock. I remember, pretty name.
Yeah.
She had like a couple hundred sync errors that went back several years, including years that were closed, that the books were actually closed. So how do you unravel that? And there's no backup. She called into it, and she wanted to, just forget about today, roll it back to yesterday. They could not do that.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Fear with online programs.
So
how did that affect the previous years, though?
That's the big
you lost your
$1
documents,
question.
not your transactions.
They lost the document.
It's the documents that are gone, not the transactions. The books
Yeah,
are
but there were actually bills put into the QuickBooks file. That how do you delete the bill, because it's got a check to it. So when she went in to pay Bill, there were 200 and some transactions going back years.
It wasn't just a document thing. It actually posted more bills?
I don't know if it posted more bills, or the bill somehow is now unattached from the check. So you go back and
you just stay on desktop. I just don't understand. Let's just go back to
Doesn't
desktop.
QBO have like a feature where you close the period like desktop?
Yes, and they did.
Yeah.
And it didn't work?
Well, apparently not.
All that is probably a warning trigger. So if anything comes in the back end, it probably posts no problem.
That's it. That's all it do. Just tell you to say, okay, you know this year is closed.
Yeah,
So
it's just a little trigger to make you, and they can stop you from doing a new transaction. But you're talking about importing
Well,
data in
no, but
directly
I'm talking about passwords. I mean, on like say the desktop where you have to, put in a password.
I don't believe it's
that's if
password
they set it
protected on
up, Dennis.
It's
no.
not,
If they set it up like that, you have an option to set it up like that where you
I'm talking about
you can
QBO.
say just that's what I'm saying. You have that option. You can say just warn me or make them put in the password if they decide, if they go into the previous year.
So QBO has the
So
same functionality.
Yes.
So
It
that
has
would
the option.
so that would simply prevent the posting,
Well,
wouldn't it?
for Lisa, it did not.
I mean, unless it goes directly to the database and bypasses that,
That's what
That
that's
inter-
what I
that-
believe happened.
that interface. Yeah, maybe
That's
could
what I
happen.
believe happened. So yeah, all this apps and syncing and all of that is wonderful when it works. When it doesn't work, it's like incredible to try and figure out. I had that actually, I use Bill.com for me personally and desktop. And going through my year-end review, I found that there was a sync that didn't go properly, and it forgot to put a bill in my desktop. To find that was like an incredible journey. I actually had to go through the money out bank account and go back to where it was zero, and then find out the period of time that it happened, and then I did a search on the exact amount, so I was able to find, oh, okay, that bill never made it to desktop, so I had to re-enter the bill and reattach it to that check.
Well, that's kind of to me, it's an interesting subject. I mean, what kind of legal recourse? I mean, for example, Bill.com may have a lot, may cost them a lot of money having to spend time to fix all this, and what kind of legal recourse they have against the actions of Intuit?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Same thing in the contract, or
well, that's between them. I don't know what the contract says.
But I could see that happening in the future as there's more and more apps that sync with each other.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I could see that being a real,
That's a real problem. I mean, what do you do with that? Do you go back to your last? Well, you can't for QBO go back to your last backup. Yep. There are backup programs, and that actually was what Michelle and Heather's last was about. And I did question that. If I want to restore a backup, I don't want to restore it right to the live file. I want to restore it to a different place, like you could with desktop. With desktop, you set that file aside, archive it, and then, do a backup and restore that backup.
You know what though? Intuit was having problems, period, because I did a lot of searching yesterday, and whereas it used to be if I search, it comes right up in the community, into a community, but yesterday it said, oh, that must have been deleted. That must have been, and that happened like 20 times. I was so frustrated yesterday. I was trying not to beg for help on QB, on the groups, but I finally had to go that way because I couldn't get it on Google.
Yeah,
I think cool.
I think it would be really nice if with the two different companies that does the backup of QBO, if they set up something like Qbox has. I don't know how many people have made mistakes. I did it trying to go back and fix some things that got changed. And I've done it now 3 or 4 times. With Qbox, as soon as I know I made a mistake that I didn't have it handwritten down so I couldn't fix it, I immediately log out, it syncs up, but then I go back to the Qbox up on the dashboard and I can go through the history and I can pick which one I want to restore. So I know exactly which one to go back to. And I do it, and I managed to do it yesterday. I've done it like 3 or 4 times this week because I've got a lot of stuff to fix that somehow got messed up. I don't know how. But that's really nice where you have, it's not just one backup. You've got like a whole string of them.
Absolutely. It would be wonderful if you could do that with QBO, but you cannot.
Not now.
Do that with QBO. No,
Got it.
no.
That would be nice. If that's something maybe we need to ask for.
Absolutely, absolutely. What are the two QBO Chrono books?
How to do it.
The two QBO backup programs are Chrono books, and what's the other one?
Rewind.
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 Okay.
And then
So
there's
you're
two
required
other
to
ones
have that?
do something with desktop.
Right.
I don't know what they are, but they feed in or something.
What is it? Rewind and what?
Chrono books.
Books.
And they both
CHRONO. Chrono books.
and they
All right.
both cost about $10 per file.
Well, the rewind
Wow.
is free until March, and in March it's $8 or $10 a month.
Right.
So just for the record, I looked up on the Intuit developer site regarding the API.
Yes.
Intuit reserves the right in its sole discretion to modify the terms at any time. They can
Yes.
modify that API at any time without notice.
Yeah.
So Bill.com and Hubdoc are just too bad.
Screw.
Too bad. Too bad for them and too bad for the people that are supporting clients that are using it, and way too bad for the clients that don't have people that support
The
them.
only good news is nobody died.
And Intuit shall not be liable to any other user or third party for any such modification, suspension, or discontinuance.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
That's a look at too much power when it comes to stuff like that. Yes.
So,
Why should we, if it's on the cloud, why should we have to have a backup if it's on the cloud anyway? Right?
well,
I mean,
Well, there's all kinds of scenarios where you want to
yeah.
test something, or you did something you want to undo and you just want to go back to your last backup. I mean, it really makes me nervous not having any control, that you have one database.
right, exactly.
What?
That's my point exactly. My point
I mean-
exactly.
I love QuickBooks for desktop.
So do I.
Yeah, right?
Did you see the thing from Hector where
Box.
thank you, Vax. Did you see the oh, it was really good. Hector's been doing that daily.
Oh, the video
Yeah,
marketing.
the V blog or something. And he's reading a book or something on management. And he did the one, and he was talking about liberals and conservatives. And I thought, well, this could be interesting. And it was. And it really was talking about was accepting change and different attitudes and everything, and how Intuit has reaffirmed their commitment to desktop.
Nice.
To desktop.
Thank
So-
you.
Yeah, and they're going to keep doing that.
Because of this. Yeah.
So you-
It's
Because
what,
I actually
70%?
watched me up there. They were going to get rid of desktop for a minute there,
They
right?
tried, but
But they had such pushback
70%
and
of their
feedback,
income.
nobody was biting.
70%
Well,
of their
we
income.
dug in our heels and we held on tight. We won the Civil War.
So QB Connect will have a new focus on desktop, right?
No.
That's why we're going to scaling. We'll go to scaling, right?
Yeah, I need to tweet Joe and tell him that we're all coming.
We're all coming. I'm bringing my entire office. If you guys want to meet everybody, there's 4 of us coming.
Awesome. Okay, next subject. Linda wants to talk about the Heather Satterley class, Zapier.
Yes. Zapier is an app that connects apps. And the easiest way for me to explain it, for me to make sense of the way my mind works, understanding that I started to use computers in 1980 when we didn't have mice, we had keyboard shortcuts and that. And so I think of Zapier as maybe like Smartsheet, or maybe like an Excel macro. If you have a task whereby you're doing do this, do this, do this, do this, and do this, and then go back and do this and this, and you go through it over and over again, and it puts the data in to a format that will move it from one location like Build.com into QBO or some other way. And Zapier is, I just love doing that kind of thing. It's like a kind of a way to mini code or something.
I call it Zapier makes apps talk to each other.
There you go. Yes.
They make
It's that plumbing working.
it takes the data and it flows.
Right.
You
Right.
have to have it trigger, and you have to have the same thing happening over and over. A good
Yes.
example is using Square, where you want
Yes.
to bring in your transactions to QBO and have them automatically sync. The trigger would be your website and getting a sale on the website. That triggers Zapier to take that information from the website and the Square and transfer it to QBO, creating a sales receipt or however it is that you're doing that. It puts the information automatically into QBO. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to do anything with it. Once it's set up, it automatically works until the API changes.
And so now, if anybody's interested in that, the class will start Friday, March 2nd. It's going to be every Friday in March for 5 Fridays.
Wow.
March 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And it's at 11 a.m. in the morning. So it doesn't even conflict with us. And it sounds like it doesn't conflict with Heather or Victor or
11
Seth.
a.m. What time zone?
What?
Pacific. So it'd be 2:00 for us.
Oh,
Oh,
You're an hour ahead of me, Sarah.
Oh, you're Central.
11 a.m. Pacific, so that would be 8 a.m. your time.
No, the other way.
the opposite way.
You would never see me if it was going the other way.
Right?
That starts at 8.
So 1 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock your time, Sarah.
Yeah, it's 2 your time.
See, Fridays is just turning into the day when I do all my social and my own stuff, and
Yes.
and my gals work a 4-day week, so it's quiet, and so 2 o'clock is. So we'd have one at noon, one at 2. Sometimes I have one at 1. I have
Well,
the
Seth's is
desktop
11.
times at 4, but that's all on Thursdays, and then or Wednesday, and then you guys at 5.
Well, Seth's is 11 for you, isn't it?
Seth is
11
11.
and 12. Yeah, right.
And then Hector's is at 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now ours is at 5.
I'm going to sign up.
According to Linda, it's at 2.
Yeah, East time
I'm
will be
like,
2.
No.
2 your time.
No.
11 my
She
time.
told me about it yesterday. She said 2 o'clock. Like 2 o'clock. Like, well, why are we changing it to 2 o'clock?
Oh, no, not us. Not us. Hey, Linda, when you take the class, will you ask a question for me? A Zapier question for me?
No, but the only thing is it costs $250. So it's like $50 an hour, which is, I think, relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
Now, depending on how many people, she might make a decent amount of money, thank
Yeah.
God. But
So which
to me, it's a skill. It's a skill that's going to become more and more important.
oh, I agree.
Right, and then you'll be the expert. We're gonna all ask you.
Freeload.
So Sarah, what is
I'm going to hire me to do it for you.
I heard you did it.
Sarah,
I
what
heard
is
you.
your question?
Okay, real quick, because we got another topic, I think. Okay, Linda. So, and we'll pay Linda. Okay.
I'll give you a hearty
looking
virtual handshake.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
I forgot what I was going to. Oh, okay. Here's the thing I want to zap.
Yes.
I'll get an email that has a name and address and email and everything. I want it to pull that off the email and go into
of Dr.
Monkey.
Pearl.
Chimp.
MailChimp.
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 Go to the monkey. Okay. So
Mail monkey.
What do you use for email?
Like monkey. She's a monkey.
I mean,
well,
she's talking
I'm a very
about
visual
MailChimp,
person,
like,
okay? I
constant contact.
monkey. Okay.
Sarah, what is your email provider?
Outlook.
I think that there was something, or someone did.
Well, I played with Parser, P-A-R-S-S-C or something or other, and I couldn't figure it out.
Got it.
I think it'll do it. But anyway, so the Zapier, I thought,
It might.
because
Somebody
I
did
get a
do-
notification every time I sell a product.
I think somebody did do a webinar on the mail, like mailing zaps. I don't remember whether it was Seth or whether it was Heather. I've been to several of theirs. So
They all
far.
blur together, don't they?
Right, right.
If you can
Last
remember.
subject,
Okay,
Sorry.
that's it. We're running out of day.
running out of time.
Oh,
Last subject, how's everybody doing with their 1099s and getting?
La 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 la.
I think what we need to discuss here is what are the solutions to the 50 million problems that everybody's been running into them. We all know all about the problems. So what are the solutions?
There's no one place to go to find out how to do this stuff, is there?
Sarah has one solution. When she presents letters of engagements or mini contracts, whatever you want to, what is it that you put on those contracts so that
Yeah,
it's
right.
clear to you whether you're going to do them or not?
Oh, my engagement letter?
Yes.
Yes.
So my engagement letter is, yes, I want ASB to do my 1099s and I certify that, blah, blah, blah. So,
Right.
but it also has a, no, I've made other arrangements and I certify that ASB has explained to me, compliance and blah, blah, blah and all that.
do you give 'em- I have a question. Do you give them something in writing so that as your explanation?
Yeah, I have an instruction, like a little training thing.
Do you make them sign it?
That they watched.
Yeah, I make them. I make them sign a statement that I have instructed them on the compliance. I guess that's.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing. What do you what's wrong?
Thinking
I mean, I
is-
could be like an attorney and say, okay, I want you to initial every freaking line of this instruction.
Oh,
Maybe-
see,
maybe you
why,
could use it-
baby?
My
Why?
summary.
Go ahead, Linda. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's right. It's Peggy. I'm going to write up a summary that, of what it says with a link, perhaps, over to the IRS where they write it all out. And I had somebody go look at that the other day.
Mhm.
But basically say that what we're doing is anyone who you pay more than $600 to in 1 year,
Right.
plus you have to pay anybody you pay rent to, you have to 1099 them for whatever amount the rent was. There's no limit, small or large on that. Same thing with attorneys, no small or large limit.
Yes, there is. 600 applies to both of those.
I've heard both ways, Sarah.
$600 applies to attorneys
I've heard attorneys, every penny you pay an attorney.
No, it's actually in the instructions. It actually says subject to.
So as soon as it comes to the point where when you write a check to somebody, now if you pay them by credit card, none of this counts. If you pay them by credit card, you can do whatever your little heart desires and I don't care. But if you want me to do your 1099s and you write a check or you pay them electronically,
Mhm.
with an electronic check, then as soon as the check you're going to write takes them over $600 within the year, you must have a W-9 or you must hold out 28% of that.
But
Dollar
what's
amount.
dangerous is if you
If you
wait
don't
until
have
you pay them
$600,
$600, one, you've got to track it. And
Yeah.
two, what if another check sneaks through and you forget that you've already paid him that 100?
Or somebody else writes them
Never
a check.
pay anybody anything without a 1090, without a W-9.
That should be your blanket
That's it. And just say that that's what I expect.
But
Now, the other-
Go ahead, Peggy.
Here's my confusion right here. With the W-9s that you're passing out to the subcontractors or whoever, do you also pass them out to S corporations and C corporations?
No. Nope.
Or just
Unless they're an attorney.
Whoa, wait a minute. If they do a W-9 that says they're an S corp, then you don't need to send them a 1099.
Unless they're an attorney.
What I'm asking. Okay,
Right.
unless they're an attorney.
So you may need to get them, if they don't want a 1099, you tell them you fill this out, you sign it and date it, and you're either an S corp or C corp, and then I don't have to send you one. And I'm going to go further on that. When I do that, I'm going to say, if you do not want to follow these compliance rules, these IRS compliance rules, which I have not created, I'm only required to obey them, you are welcome to have your 1099s done by somebody else.
Right. And that was what the point I was going to make
I'm
was
going to follow the rules.
my engagement letter says, yes, I want ASB, or no, I don't want ASB. But if I want ASB,
Yep.
they have to agree that I'm testing the W-9s and I'm testing their data.
Yep.
And depending on our fee agreement, that could be a couple hours of labor.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes testing all the data and all that produces one 1099 or no 1099s, but I have to
That's
test
right.
it. If they're not interested in me going to that depth to protect
Right.
them,
They should say, no, do
I
not
go
do my.
track 1099, go do your, welcome to do your own.
Yep.
Here, check off no.
Yep.
So, but I'm not going to agree to do somebody's 1099s and do it half-assed.
No.
Exactly.
I just don't.
Exactly.
It's not in me. I have
Do
to
not lower your standards.
And you know what? And it doesn't mean that somebody else who doesn't do that is doing anything wrong. It's a different
No.
it's a different level of
That's right.
risk taking, I think.
Yes. That's
And
what it is.
some people don't bother them a bit.
Right.
I'm a little OCD. So my clients know I'm a little OCD. They call me the W-9 Nazi. I know. But that's me, and
Sarah,
that's my business model. So here I am. Take it or leave it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm nice
Yeah.
about it. You want to go to have your CPA do it or have your brother do it? I don't care.
That's fine. It's all good. It just, you
If
just
you want
don't
me,
mess
you're doing it my way.
what they think is not the best. So,
Yeah.
And that's why your clients like you, for the level of detail that you do.
They like me when the stuff hits the fan. Because I've had closures on different nonprofits and they've gotten into trouble and they go, oh, Sarah,
boy.
I sure wish you were our accountant over here. We would not be going through this. And I'm like,
yeah,
and that's my reputation too.
right.
And after 30 years, I can talk to a sales tax auditor who knows me or a revenue agent and all that. And if they know me, they go, oh, it's Sarah. I've actually had an agent say that, oh, we were doing a DOL audit one time. And she goes, Sarah, how are you? Oh, this is going to be easy.
Right, right.
That makes me feel great.
On the W-9s, though, like, do you just automatically make them fill it out so that as soon as they get a new contract, as soon as they get a new attorney or whatever,
Get a bill. Yeah.
Before they get their first check, they get a W-9, and they do not get paid unless they fill out that W-9.
Okay.
Or
I'll tell you another
they
trick.
do get paid, and 28% gets taken out. And
Peggy, I'll give you a trick. Somebody,
And I'll tell you, as soon as you take out 28% and give them that check, they'll go, well, what happened? You say, oh, the IRS, I can't believe how tough they are.
yeah,
They made me 28% out because you didn't get me that W-9 I asked you
I'm
for.
so sorry, but
Oh, I didn't know. Oh,
I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying.
take the W-9. First, take the W-9. If they're giving you trouble, send them a W-9 that says holding check number and make it up. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
And
right.
they'll go,
Just a minute.
holding my check. And then if that still doesn't work, do what Linda says and take out the 28%. Now, technically, you're supposed to send it to the IRS, but hold on to it for a couple of days. And if that W-9 comes in, say, give them their 28%. But so the way you get to people is through their pocketbook.
Absolutely.
That gets their attention.
Gets their
Absolutely.
Anybody right or wrong. It's just, it is what it is.
Yep. But you know what, Linda? I do want to say that this year I did tell one client, if you don't want to deal with 1099s, pay them with a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
If they take credit cards, but yeah, absolutely. Takes care of that problem.
Yep. That was the choice.
Well, I'm not even, we're still recording. So until you stop recording, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, we are done. That's it. That's all, folks, for
Short
today.
and sweet.
We did really well.
See you next week, same time, same place.